What's up, everybody? It's Grim from GTS Wrestling, and welcome to the best ever Joe Cronin's Monetize This World Heavyweight Champion, the video games collector, the game hunter, Casey is raw. And if you're not down with that, we got 3 words for you. Eat it, yeah!
The following announcement has been paid for by Casey is Raw. What up, guys? My name is Casey is Raw, and welcome to Saturday is Raw. I should have someone come and join us in a little bit. We have a couple people in the chat. We have Costanza, and we got Randy Viper. What's up, Randy Viper? He says I see you, Casey. So welcome. How's everyone doing today? I should have my co-host coming by in a little bit. So the major things we're going to talk about is the big YouTube drama that's been going down. You have Rich from ReviewTechUsa versus his now ex editor producer JKB. They had a bad falling out. A day before JKB's birthday, Rich decides to fire JKB. Probably because Rich wanted to edit his own stuff and not have to pay him. But that's what I'm thinking what probably happened. There's some other things I was hearing about where Rich was saying that JKB was extorting him because he wanted his full month of pay. But JKB had a retainer just in case he wanted to bail out in the middle of the month, and like how he did, so he could get his money. Randy Viper says Elimination Chamber was great. Grayson Waller effect was bad, though overhyped. Biggest surprise, didn't see Logan Paul costing the Viper. Well, we're thinking it's probably like the Saw Monster says. I believe I'll bet money the person who's Logan Paul is going to be taking on is LA Knight for the United States belt at WrestleMania. I believe that's what's going to happen. But and no, uh, AJ Styles attacked LA Knight. I barely watched the Elimination Chamber. I started when it was the women's chamber match and I fell asleep. And then I woke up and they had the men's chamber about to start and fell back to sleep. And the two people who I figured was going to win did win. So it wasn't a really shocker. So hopefully the Rose will be joining me shortly so we can talk about the whole JKB situation. But he he didn't even know about this. I mean, but the whole thing with Rich from ReviewTechUsa, yeah, it looks like he just didn't want JKB to be working with him anymore. And there was a lot of bad blood, and on camera it seemed like everything was fine. But there was stuff getting leaked out through JKB's Discord, and yeah, I saw that, EJ. But it looks like, yeah, someone in JKB's Discord was leaking some information about what Rich said about JKB, calling him, uh, he was making fun of, I need to pay, able to pay rent. And like, but I'm able to buy upgrades for the computer that I gave him. And then he told him to get fucked. I was like, wow, what a dick. And then he said something even worse, saying that, oh gosh, that later, it's like how you hear about tweet and delete. That's what he did. He posted on Facebook and deleted, and he doubled down, and he's like, "Hey, the best man made the best man win." I mean, and Rich says, "By best man, I mean me, and I work better without a parasite." Like, wow. I mean, you're calling a friend that worked with you for 6 years a parasite. I mean, wow, that's pretty fucking bad. I mean, we don't know what all happened behind the scenes, but I mean, a lot of times they'll say there's two sides of the story, right? I mean, JKB got his side of the story, Rich got his side of the story, and then right in the middle is the truth, right? And Rich does not look good in this. I mean, those posts that he did on Facebook was very damning, but not damning as like Gerard completionist damning. So, I mean, that's pretty bad where Gerard, the completionist, he should be like done, but that asshole continues to make content. But, oh God, it's crazy because it's not only that. Then I was listening to 8-Bit Eric. 8-Bit Eric, I'm a big fan of because he was part of the Game Chasers, and I watched the Game Chasers and 8-Bit Eric probably 15 years, 10 to 15 years. What's up, Mikal? How's it going, bro? Um, so I've been following 8-Bit Eric's streams a lot, and yesterday 8-Bit Eric released early in the morning about the situation between Rich and JKB, going through the information on JKB's Discord. JKB was leaving voice messages about what was going on. Probably not the smartest thing to do, but um, but Eric, 8-Bit Eric says that he was on his Facebook. He made mention about that. He was a friend on Rich from ReviewTechUsa's Facebook, and because the video was about the good for JKB and the bad for Rich, Rich fought and name dropped 8-Bit Eric because he was the leaker. I was like, Eric wouldn't do that. I'm like plus, like if you look in that Discord, Eric wasn't really saying anything. He was just reading what people were writing and then all the posts. Like, well, one, Rich was stupid enough to put that post on his Facebook. If he didn't think that was going to get leaked out, he's an idiot. Just because he posted and then deleted it, and then he, like I said, he doubled down and with a even worse comment and delete it. He thinks, oh, I deleted it. I'm like, well, if you have YouTube content people on your personal Facebook, they see something crazy like that, they're going to take a picture. And guess what? That happened. But I don't believe it was 8-Bit Eric at all. I was kind of shocked when he name dropped 8-Bit Eric in that stream Rich did. I was like, no, he wouldn't do that. I mean, the only reason he was mad at 8-Bit Eric was because of that video he did about his buddy JKB, and he just didn't like the things he was saying, so he name dropped him in that stream, blaming Eric as being the leaker. I was like, no, he would not do that. Then this morning, 8-Bit Eric has dropped another video. He was pissed off. I'd totally understand. I would have been pissed off as well. But it seems that Rich from ReviewTechUsa, I'm gonna just say Rich for short now, but he apologized to 8-Bit Eric. He acknowledges it on the video. Both JKB and Rich said everything is done and over with. I mean, the whole biggest thing was that Rich didn't want to pay him his money for the month after being laid off from Rich, and there was a whole dispute about that. There's a dispute between Rich saying that the day he got laid off, he paid him full. Well, JKB said, no, it was later on. But JKB said that Rich blocked him and unfollowed him on Facebook, while Rich was like, I can't talk to him. I can't find him nowhere. Like, well, you unfriend them. Like, I'm sure if JKB was mad, he probably blocked him for a good reason. But it seems like everything is better now. But oh my God, Rich does not look good in this situation. He looks horrible in this situation right now. And I'm on the side of JKB because I never seen him do anything bad. While Rich is known to have some drama, he's part of the drama team club with the Keemstar and other people that was a No Cow podcast, where all they do is about drama. So I mean, Keemstar drama alert, right? So, where the hell is the Rose? He's late, too busy watching. Oh, I'm not gonna say that. He should be here soon. He said he would be on. He said he had to do a couple things, but I think he's getting his. I bet money he's getting his gameplay up and ready. I'm sure he'll be joining me very shortly. So, this kind of I had to bring that up, but yeah, I'm hoping that oh, and here's his response. So usually I don't follow I usually don't talk about the drama situations like this, but um the whole thing with Gerard, the completionist situation with charity fraud, it's kind of hard not to talk about that. The whole Vince McMahon situation, it's hard not to talk about that. Um this is kind of hard not to talk about it because I'm a fan of both of these people, of Rich and JKB. And it's and it really puts a dagger in the heart when he took a shot at 8-Bit Eric, because I'm a huge fan of 8-Bit Eric. And I know, like, I'm not a friend of 8-Bit Eric. I would love to be, but I mean, I watched the guy for 15 years and I talked to the guy online. Like, he seems a real cool dude that I wouldn't expect him want to be part of drama. I know, like let's say during the whole Gerard the completionist situation, he wanted to steer away from it because one, um, he was friends with Gerard, but I believe 8-Bit Eric was uh smart enough to wait to respond, and some of the YouTubers who did respond for um for Gerard, they got shit on. I mean, look at Woodhawker. Woodhawker, he got shit on because he was defending a friend. I mean, I would. It would suck seeing a friend of mine do something bad, and I would have to defend him. If it's something I know the guy personally, to the point where I know it's untrue, then I'm gonna defend them. But if it's something like, well, I mean, I don't know the guy that well. I'm willing to listen about what happened on either side of the story before I make an opinion, unless there's like evidence. I mean, if you look on Gerard, the evidence thing, I mean, the video call, all the tax papers, there were so many things pointing at Gerard that was looking horrible that it's kind of hard to bring that nose back up, saying, yeah, well, there's a good reason for this. It's kind of hard. I mean, the biggest thing I would bring up is when the Pro Jared situation, like, it was like, what? That was like 5 years ago with the Pro Jared. What's up, Tour Capture? And what's up, Bam? Um, the whole Pro Jared situation. I mean, Pro Jared's not innocent in this, but Pro Jared, his ex-wife now tried to take down his his ex-wife tried to take down Pro Jared, saying that he was doing some really shady stuff, and he did kind of shady stuff. He was doing, you know, one of these social, God, what do they call them? Some of these sites, I guess. Trying to remember what called, where people shares pictures and stuff like that. Social media, let's say social media, because I don't know which one it is, but he's put up a adult version of his fan base so he could send out nude pics of himself and get nude pics of his fans back. And I mean, right there, that's bad. That's pretty fucking bad. You doing that with your fan base. But then obviously when there's hearing about underage stuff, like, ooh, that's not good. But uh, it was pretty proven that he did do the whole thing with the adult social media thing, but as the underage thing, it was proven that that wasn't a thing. But it pretty much it was a lot of damage. And then when Pro Jared came back and talked about his side, it 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 went like this because now he looked a ton better while his ex-wife looks like the, the asshole because she did a lot of bad things. So watching that story happen made me learn to wait to see this other side of the story before I make a judgment. But true catcher. No comment. I can't. My lawyer told me I cannot comment on that. So, but I can't comment on that. So it's just crazy what has happened. Still, I'm not gonna lie. I did that years and years and years ago when I was in Pennsylvania, and they were stupid enough to leave their stuff unlocked, so their internet unlocked. So, but I don't do that now. But no, it's just crazy. See, but I I think both Rich from ReviewTechUsa, he'll be fine. He's not gonna be freaking being Gerard or Pro Jared, where they kind of, or wrestling terms, being Benoit. I think Rich will see a little damage. He'll probably lose a little friends. I mean fans, but uh JKB, he's raking in all the support. The guy deserves it. The guy was a very good content creator. It's just it's crazy. And also was crazy that Rich saying that he didn't want to do the news anymore. He kind of gave, you know how Ric Flair's like, hey, we're gonna cancel this thing with Mark Madden. Like, hey, this is not working out, and I'm done. Instead of just firing him, he just said he's gonna cancel the podcast. And then he turned around and goes to freaking Conrad Thompson. And that's what uh I would say Rich kind of done. Like he kicked JKB to the curb where he wants to do all the editing himself. Like Rich was complaining, oh, that's more than half of what we made this month. I'm like, well, one, if that's what the deal you worked out, you should, like JKB said, like if you couldn't afford him, you should have sat down, talked about lowering the retainer. So I'm gonna take the side of JKB on this. I mean, I'm gonna still watch Rich from Review Tech USA, but he kind of lost a little respect in my eyes. But he hadn't done anything crazy bad as like Gerard the Completionist. But I do have a couple other stories to talk about. One, I want to talk about Mother 3 going to. Well, I mean, Mother 3 finally coming out to Nintendo Switch online service, but only in Japan. And also, I want to talk about my AEW experience that I went to this past Wednesday. Uh, one thing I also would love to talk to the Rose about this one is there's a YouTuber, big YouTuber named Smash JT, and he took a shot at Pat the NES Punk, where Pat has been doing, um, been writing books. He wrote a book for the NES library, reviewing all these games and gameplays, uh, and they did the same thing for Super Nintendo, and now he's done one for the N64. But what Smash JT's problem with that is that he was using emulators to review it. Like, I don't see the problem. Like, he was saying that. So I'm thinking to Smash JT's opinion is that, oh, the only way you can review it if you had the physical software and hardware to do this book. Like, if I think it's okay if you're doing emulating, if you're actually playing the game and you get your review out, and if there's no plagiarism in that review, I don't see the problem. Like, if the biggest problem was if you plagiarize the review, and Smash JT's like, oh, well, he's also using other writers to help this book. Like, okay, what's wrong with that? He admits that he used other writers to help build that book. He done that for the NES, and he did that for the Super Nintendo. Like, one of the tour capture saying, "Who cares?" And then he says right here, depends on people who cares situation. I would love to you elaborate on that. But for me, I'm like, I don't see the problem. Like, so are you? Do you have to have? See, I'm looking at what he had in this book. He had all these variants of these N64 games. Like, he'll have then like for the American version, the Europe version, and then he'll have the Japan version. Like, so he needs to have all these variants. Like, you gotta remember, like, all this stuff is costing a ton of money. Let's see, people's situation, money, and sort on. I still think you're talking. I assume you're talking about this, but my co-host decided to finally show the fuck up, so let's add him.
What's up,
So,
dickhead?
oh
Doesn't matter,
no,
man. You did the first 24 minutes by yourself?
oh dude, I was just grasping at straws. I'm like, where were
I
you? I
thought you
needed.
said you were going to try to have someone else tonight, man.
Well, I'm just busting your balls.
I was letting my dogs out. And then,
No,
that
dude, you
takes
don't
about a
have.
half an hour.
Dude, hold on. It takes a half an hour to walk a dog.
When I have to let one dog out at a time, yes.
Well, how many dogs do you have?
2. I can't walk them together because they don't get along. When they're together, all they want to do is play. And I'm not going to fucking try to
Yeah.
pull. I'm not going to try to hold on to 2 dogs when one is about 50 pounds and the other one's a fucking pit bull. And you know how strong they are.
Oh, no, I'm just busting your balls. But yeah, dude, when I was taking my in-laws' dogs out, yeah, you don't want to walk them out together because they're just going to play outside.
I mean, if they were
So I
small
was
dogs,
just
it wouldn't be
kidding
a
with.
problem. But they ain't small dogs.
Well, still, yeah, even still with small dogs, they'll want to play outside instead of going out and potty.
Right,
So I
right.
understand.
But holding on to small dogs outside is easier than holding on to a pit bull and a dog that weighs about 50 pounds.
No shit. So we can go back to the whole thing with Rich and
I did not get a chance to look into any of that today.
JKB situation, but I was talking about the.
Am I causing any echo, Casey,
I'll
on
bring
your end?
it
Because
kind
I'm
of up
not
to
wearing my
speed
headphones.
about it.
Can you hear
No,
me?
you're fine.
I was asking you if I'm
fine.
causing an echo on your end because I'm not wearing headphones.
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
you're fine. But right now, I was talking about how I assume you know about Smash JT, right?
Which one? What is that? Smash what?
Smash JT.
No.
You never heard of him?
No.
He's kind of one of the YouTube gamer drama people. Kind of almost like Rich is a little bit. But he was doing he likes doing drama stories like when the completionist situation was going down, he was talking about that whole thing. And he was talking about the whole thing with Rich from ReviewTech situation too. But one of the things I thought was stupid, he was attacking Pat the NES Punk about him using emulators to do game reviews for his new book for the N64 collection.
Has that been proven though?
Oh, Pat admits that he used emulators, but I don't see the problem with that. Like if you're reviewing games,
and it's not illegal if he owns the console and the game that he's playing on an emulator.
No, but I don't see the problem if you're gonna do, let's say, a book on the whole library on N64 games and the variants and having a review of it. I don't see the problem. Like even not having all the N64 games, I think it's okay if you have an emulator and you actually play the game and you get a good review, like a review out for it, and it has no not being plagiarized. I don't see the problem.
Well, the problem with it is legality. That's the problem.
Nah. Well, to me, I don't see the problem. I mean, are you saying you don't use emulators?
No, I definitely do, but I'm just saying the problem that he probably took with it is legality. He's probably calling him out for, pirating games that are like going on 30 years old.
Well, I'm thinking he was complaining about where, see, I feel like Smash JT felt like you had to have all the games because it was not just talking about he'll have all these variants. Like he'll have the American version, the Europe version, and the Japanese version, and he'll show like all different covers and of the cartridges. Like if there's, and not only that, you complain about having other people writing reviews for the book. Like, okay, what's wrong with that? Like if it was him, imagine not only going through all the games that you're reviewing, you have to write every review, give a star rating, putting a bunch of pictures of the game, screenshots, and the cartridges. You know how long that would take for him to build that book by himself?
So you're saying that this guy's complaining that he's not reviewing every single version of every single game?
Not only that, him using emulators instead of having the physical game to review. I think Smash JT was stretching on this one. I think he was trying to find a new drama story, and this is this is BS.
I can see that. I can see that to an extent, but like I said, the emulator thing, he's probably giving him shit for the whole legality of it. But let's be real. Those games are almost 30 years old. Nintendo's not making money on most of those games anymore to this day.
Yeah,
So in the end, who cares? Besides Nintendo, of course.
that's what I'm saying. Oh, let
But
me ask you a question.
what he's stretching on is Pat should not have to review every single version of every single game that he's putting in that book. Because Pat is from the United States, so he should, technically, his book only needs to cover the U.S. versions of whatever games he's reviewing for that book.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, here's the thing: is some of the other books he would have like a different cover. Like the European will have the European, like it would be the Super Nintendo, but with the Super Famicom console. So I mean, but it would be a variant of the cover for the other countries, you know. But I think it's just stupid because one, like you said, these games are 30 plus years old now. Nintendo is not making money off them
Almost,
at
yeah.
all. And like to me, I always feel if the company is not making money off that product no more, it's fair game.
You would think that, but the
Because
copyright system would tell you otherwise.
no, I agree. But I'm just saying, like, for me, if they're not making money off it no more, if they're not, let's say, even releasing the game on the current gen, I don't see the problem. It's like, let's say if I burn a bunch of games for Dreamcast and I have the whole library on burned CDs, like, Sega's not making no money off that no more. Like, I don't see a problem with that. But I do see a problem, like, let's say for systems that are still making money off, like the Xbox One and PS4. I don't even, maybe the PS3 and 360 might be still selling games digitally, still probably.
I know the
But I
PS3,
feel,
PSN store, I believe, is still active.
but before that, the PS2 and the original Xbox, those games are not making no money anymore. So,
Technically, some games are, because PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo have their subscription services that offer some of these games to be playable on them. Like, obviously, Switch Online has the Game Boy Advanced, the N64 games catalog, and you can only play those on the Switch with the $50 subscription. Xbox has Game Pass, which does put 360 and OG Xbox games on their Game Pass platform. You know, they're few and far between, but there's still a few of them there.
yeah, but it's
And
still
and PlayStation
very,
has the PlayStation Plus Premium and the extra category, which has PlayStation 3, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 1 games on there, as well as a couple of PSP games. And the only way to play those legally is to have the subscription services. So technically, they are making some money off of them still. They're just not selling copies of those games anymore.
yeah.
But they're
They're
still
just
using
selling
those
it
games, some of
digitally.
those games, to make a little bit of money.
Terror Capture says he just downloaded Kid Dracula and not paying 300 Canadian for it, where he can get it for free. Well, one, I don't think Kid Dracula is $300, but I think, I think that's way, like, I don't know where you're looking at, but I could be wrong.
What system is that for? I'll look it up in a minute.
I know Kid Dracula's for the Famicom, and there's a Game Boy version. Like, let me look. I go to pricecharting.com for my price checking.
Don't knock out your stream now, Casey.
I'm not. At least I hope not.
Because I was gonna just go on eBay, because I always go by. I know you use price charting, but I always go by eBay listings, because I go by what the people are actually selling it for.
Well, that's what price charting does. Kid Dracula. Well, Game Boy goes for $186 loose. They're not showing the Famicom version, but the Game Boy is 100. Like the American version is $186. I'm shocked about that, and the European version is $108. Uh, well, Casey, you 200 USD. Wow, wow, that's still. I mean, it's close to $200. So, and yes, it is a rare game. So, and I know that paying Canadians, I think there's like maybe a quarter more on top of that. So, I was shocked how much that. See, I don't know the prices for everything, so I had to look that up on price charting. But as the Famicom version, I don't know. But Game Boy game seems to be kind of expensive. Well, I don't blame you emulating it to capture. Like, I'm not suggesting anyone to do what me and the Rose does. I mean, collecting video games is
It
a
is
hobby, and
expensive.
it's a very expensive hobby. It's a very expensive hobby that if you're married and have kids, there's no way you could do this. Uh, or at least not at the amount I have. It's kind of hard to do that. So, but and I wouldn't suggest anyone to do that either because nowadays, let's say if we start collecting games, let's say you start scratch from square one. You mentioned how much money you had to put down to get all this stuff nowadays.
Unless you come across somebody
It'd
that
be
doesn't know what
crazy.
things are worth.
No, exactly, and that's kind of hard nowadays with eBay and going on YouTube and like, oh, this game's very popular. I can get this for that. Uh, what's this one says? Oh, question: does the Retro 3 Trio plays if you're talking about the Super Famicom, I would say no. I believe not, but the the Retro 3 Trio, I'm not sure. See, I have two systems that does this. Is one is the Retron 5. Don't get that. That thing's a piece of shit. That thing, I have two broken ones right now. I think I eventually dumped them because no one wants them for parts. I suggest if you want to play really secure, obscure stuff like Famicom and Super Famicom and even TurboGrafx stuff, you go to the Retro Freak. That thing's more reliable. But if you want to play Nintendo NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis, you go to that the Retron 3, I guess. I don't know. I'm not like leaning back, leaning to more modern clone console. What the hell? I think. Oh my gosh, Dukas is on the end table licking my plate up. You turd.
He's a dog, man. You leave scraps laying around, he's gonna do that.
Yeah, he's a turd. I was, but I do love my retro freak. My retro freak is badass. But as I tried to stay with the real hardware, but what what happened today tonight? You could ask the Rose about that. I just know who won the Elimination Chamber matches. Becky Lynch won the women's, and Drew McIntyre won the men's. Nothing
It was a very
big.
predictable. It was a very predictable show. It really wasn't. Excuse me. I feel sorry for anybody who stayed up all night to watch that thing while it was live, and I'm glad I didn't.
No,
I was going
like,
to, but I
the
fell
Rose.
asleep. I fell asleep about 10 minutes before it started.
Well, I was calling the Rose to, tell him what topics I was planning to do. And I could hear it in his background. He was listening to it. So, Grill Strong says that was disgusting. You should have heard.
Just drinking a can of Pepsi. Leave me alone.
Well, guess you guys didn't hear. I laid 2 farts down while I was kind of leaning over my recliner. So, charm.
Fucking disgusting.
But well, I mean, no one said anything. It was like, was that a fart? So, but
well, that's because I also use an actual fucking good microphone, so people actually hear when I make noise.
Well, I think it's a good thing that no one heard the farts. I'm like,
so nobody heard it.
But,
so you decide you got to describe it for us. Good job.
Exactly. I had to describe my fart. But
Casey, what are we gonna do with you? But yeah, we're gonna talk about the pay-per-view tomorrow night on Less Than Serious. Cheap plug for later. I was not impressed at all with that show. And quite honestly,
like
they made a big deal about how it's their first show in Australia in so many years. They got 5 matches. One of them was a pre-show match that wasn't even on the pay-per-view. And not only that, not only that, but 3 out of the 5 matches were all women's matches.
Wow, that's weird.
You had the women's tag team titles. It was Asuka and Kairi Sane with Io Sky going up against Candice LeRae and someone else. That was the pre-show match. The women's chamber match started the actual show. Then it was the men's tag team title match. Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne against Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Then you had the men's chamber match, and then you had the women's title match was the main event because Rhea Ripley was wrestling in her hometown, in her home country, with her family in the fucking front row.
And she wasn't going to lose, especially how close to WrestleMania we are. I mean, if we were like 4 months away, that's one thing. But when the next pay-per-view is WrestleMania, like there was not going to be any changes because they want to have their stuff set for WrestleMania.
Right.
That's why, I wasn't sure about I was pretty sure Drew McIntyre was going to win. And I was pretty sure he was the favorite going in. As the other people, it was.
Well, at least they protected Randy Orton. I'll say that much.
He doesn't need protecting. The guy is a multi-time world champion. He does not need to be protected.
Well, they protected him anyway.
But going back, let's go to my main topic beforehand. I was talking about before you showed up. So I'll tell you what happened.
I know you told me a little bit about it this morning, but I didn't have time to look into it because after I got off the phone with you, I went out with my brothers for like most of the day. And then when I got home, I finished watching Elimination Chamber, and then I asked you when you were going live, and then I was preparing my stream to simulcast alongside you tonight, which I'll be starting in a couple of minutes. And then I was, letting my dogs out and making food. So I didn't really have time to look into it, like based on outside of what you were telling me. But like I said, I'm not really aware because I have not seen anyone on from the people that I talk to, or not talk to, but follow on Twitter, and talk to. I have not seen any of them gaming, content creators talk about ReviewTechUsa at all. So,
well, I'm gonna keep it short down instead of kept saying his full YouTube name. I'm gonna just say Rich and JKB. So I'm gonna tell you what's been going on, and I'd like to get your reaction. So, the day before JKB's birthday, Rich decided to pretty much lay JKB off. I seen.
At least he didn't get fired on his birthday.
Well,
that would have been horrible.
It's almost like pulling a CM Punk where you're getting fired on your wedding day,
Right.
But so what JKB was saying that Rich wanted to go a different route, and but it's kind of like how Eric was saying that he didn't want to do news stories anymore. But funny that the 3-4 days later, 3-4 days in a row, he was doing news stories. So he was pulling a Gerard, where Gerard's like, I don't want to do no more content making, and that's Gerard's been pumping out content. So like I call him Gerard on that part, but then there was some paid disputes. Rich says that he paid him full on the same day that he laid off JKB. I can't confirm or deny about either one. No, is correct. JKB said no, he did not pay him immediately, but they both said that he gave the PC that Rich gave him for him to do his job editing for Rich. He let him to keep that. Then later on, he finally decided to pay JKB his full retainer for the month. So, and not only that, it was leaked on Rich personal Facebook that Rich had some really bad comments against JKB, where he was calling him, like saying, "Oh, I need to be able to pay rent," but then he makes a side note saying, "Oh, but he was able to pay upgrades for the gaming PC that he gave him," and then just making some asshole comments. Then he does the delete thing where he deleted his post, and then he doubles down again, where he posted even a worse comment where he's saying that all I'm going to say is that may the best man wins. And as I mean the best man, I mean me. And I work better when I don't have a parasite sucking off me. I'm like, wow, he's calling JKB a parasite. Like, that's pretty fucked up. They worked together for 6 years. They're friends and working together, and you call this guy a parasite.
That's a little shocking. Yeah, I didn't hear any of that.
Well, you're not going to be the only way you can. I'm sure you could be able to find the pictures. He deleted the pictures. I mean, the post, but he was stupid enough to put those posts on his Facebook, even though it was behind I guess if you had to be a friend, and he was like, well, I'm not sure who did it, but on the same yesterday morning, 8-Bit Eric was doing a video about his friend about the JKB situation with Rich, and he's been friends with JKB well over a decade. So he was going to take his friend's side. And he was reading off the Discord from JKB, and they actually showed the two posts that Rich posted on his Facebook. So someone leaked the information on JKB's Discord. And JKB was leaving sound bites about what he was going through. And 8-Bit Eric was just going through the Discord. But he also mentioned that he's a friends with Rich on Facebook. So later on yesterday, Rich, I guess he had a stream up saying he owned up to the two posts that he said. He says, I said them, and I own up to it, and I defend what I said. So he's not denying it, but he's still like, he should have said it. Well, I was just mad, I shouldn't have said anything like that. But no, he almost tripled down on it, where he owned up to those posts, but like, you're calling your friend a parasite, But
That's I don't know. Like I said, I've never seen any of this. I've never seen any of this go on, so I'm a little out of the loop.
Well, I suggest looking into it. It's kind of interesting, but here's the kicker. So I'm listening to that stream, and I watched the 8-Bit Eric thing, and I'm listening. I'm actually driving while listening to the podcast.
Right.
And I heard Rich name drop 8-Bit Eric, pretty much blaming or accusing 8-Bit Eric being the leaker. It's like, no, 8-Bit Eric would never do that. And yet today, this morning, 8-Bit Eric dropped another video explaining, one, that he was upset when Rich blamed him for that, and he talked to Jay about that, and Jay defended him, and eventually Rich apologized to him in a message. So 8-Bit Eric acknowledged that. But the whole thing between Rich and JKB's kind of been squashed now. But they said they're thinking maybe do something together, like a stream together, but as being as a team like they were beforehand, that they're done. They're not even considered friends anymore. So with all that, what do you think about that whole situation?
I think I think it's messed up for sure. I don't really know what else I could say about that,
I mean, well, Rich, he's been known to be on the drama side. I mean, he does that drama podcast with Keemstar and a couple other people. I think Boogie's on there too. Was it the No Cow podcast or something like that?
Local podcast, yeah.
Yeah, the Local. So, I mean, they're all about dramas. So, I mean,
hello.
Yeah.
I thought for some reason my microphone wasn't working for a moment there.
But if I'm going to take anyone's side, I'm going to take JKB's side, because Rich is known to be part of drama. I mean, not saying Rich has every right to fire the guy if he wanted to, but if JKB has a retainer that you're supposed to own up to it, pay the motherfucker.
Right.
Well,
Totally understandable.
He did pay them. They both acknowledged they paid him, and everything is good between them. But I wouldn't doubt there's still bad blood between those two. So it's one of those falling outs, At least JKB is getting a ton of support now, and I'm happy for that because the guy was doing good content before he went dark and went to doing editing and producing for Rich, because it was like I was watching his content and then one day he was just not there no more. So it was good to see him come back and doing his own thing again.
Right. But real quick, Casey, I just want to let everybody know that I am now live on my channel as we continue the conversation here. So we are covering, we have the gameplay on my channel. We have the show going on over there at Casey is Raw's channel. So check all that out down below.
Yes, sir.
We got Casey is Raw. I'm the co-host tonight, also simulcasting. I'm playing a Super Mario World ROM hack while Casey is hosting his show. So with that being said, let's continue the show.
I think when we're simulcasting, we're both the hosts. If we're not, then yeah, honestly, you'd be the co-host. But you're simulcasting. I would consider you as the equal because I mean it's still your side of the show,
Well, I mean, yeah, but I mean I'm the co-host on your end, so. And I really don't understand why my microphone keeps doing that adjusting shit. So my voice is
it's like low, high. I mean low, then you sound good.
I don't understand why it does that. I really don't.
But that's pretty much the main story. I'm not gonna lie, YouTube drama kind of hooks me. Like some stories like this kind of hooks me every once in a while. And like before this was the Gerard the Completionist situation and the whole thing with the Vince McMahon situation. So it's kind of hard not to follow the drama when something blows up like this.
Well, everyone,
even though you said you did not hear.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about this.
What's up?
I said nobody I've seen that I watched covered this at all. No, not Pat.
Well, JKB,
not Muda. Nobody that I watched covered it.
Well, a lot of the drama stuff just came out the last couple days. As the firing, I think he fired JKB last week. And there was nothing got leaked out until Rich decided to stupidly put those two posts on his Facebook. And he's like, well, I didn't specifically say who it was. Like, dude, it's not hard to figure it out. Like, the guy, he literally just fired the guy and then he put the post on Facebook. Like, it's kind of hard not to add one and one together,
Right.
That's like, let's say it's like a YouTuber, I don't want to go one route, but like we're part of a community where someone would leave a community and they're like, oh, like let's shame this person on this side, like why do we have to do that? Like
people have nothing better to do. That's
like
why.
if like right now, like I'm not innocent at the same thing either. I'll admit that I'm guilty. Like when me and AJ was having problems, Kratos, he was the one who's like, Casey, you need to pull back. And like, he was right. Like, because I was mad when
And by the way,
me
we're
and
not bringing
AJ
this
had
up to
that
start any
fall.
drama bullshit. By the way,
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying that I'm not innocent about this because, right now, me and AJ, we're cool. There's no problem between me and him. I think AJ's just taking some time off. But I'm just saying, but the falling out we had beforehand, between me and him, like I was guilty of being mad and you know
right?
speaking my mind when Kratos is like, "Hey, Casey, you need to pull back and think what you're saying," because I was mad and wasn't thinking clearly. So I'm guilty of that too. So that's probably what happened with Rich, you know. So,
Yeah, but I mean, stuff like that, you should just keep it between you and you and the person that you have a problem with. I don't
yeah,
understand why you got to put shit out there and then it gets leaked and then it just becomes a big fucking problem. And like I said, what Casey just mentioned about that other person, we don't mention it, or he wasn't mentioning it to kind of stir up any shit. So don't go fucking doing that because we don't need it here.
exactly. Like we're not really here to cause any drama. We're here to have fun. I mean, there. I mean, I hate seeing my friends that I do shows with having problems. So that's the furthest thing I want to do. So, like, so with that saying, let's go ahead and you know what? Let's talk about my experience with AEW on Wednesday.
Yeah, let's do that. Sounds good.
So, I had a blast. I thought, like I thought it might happen, AEW had the better wrestling matches than WWE would do. I would say the match of the night was the first one that they put on Dynamite was the John Moxley and
That
Claudio
was a good match. That
Castagnoli
was fun.
versus FTR. That was a great match.
That was fun to
And
watch, definitely.
When Justin Roberts says 15 minutes has gone by, it's like, oh, this is going to draw.
And
But
that's what
the
exactly what happened.
Soul Monster brought up a good point. Is that AEW has normalized announced the timing of the time limits. Like if they have a 20-minute time limit and you're 15 minutes into the match, he'll announce it. So saying, "Hey, there's a time limit coming up,"
You
Well,
notice though, they
if
only really do that. They only really do that if the match is going to end in a draw.
well, that's not completely true because they did that later on in the night when it was a women's match that was getting close to 20 minutes. Justin Roberts says 15 minutes has expired, and that match ended, and then in the draw. It's when WWE is famous for, oh, you know what? They'll bring up about the time limit, like this amount of time has expired, and they're like, well, you never said this beforehand. Well, like you never hear about time limits anymore in WWE. There's no time limits unless they decide to put one on there.
Right.
At least AEW, they'll put time limits. Say this match is for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour time limit. While WWE, you never hear that unless they're planning to make it a draw. But they did have two dark matches, And I didn't. There was two things I did not know. Actually, three things. That one, Colt Cabana was he was part of a tag team with Brandon Cutler. So I guess one that not only Colt Cabana was part of the tag team with him, he's no longer part of the Dark Order. And
I didn't even know Colt Cabana was still on AEW. Let's be real.
Well, he was moved over to Ring of Honor during the whole CM Punk situation. But Colt was actually extremely funny during the match. He was extremely funny. So I wish he would bring him back because all the things he was doing was funny. But Brandon Cutler was wrestling with him, and they had the elite music, but right now the Young Bucks are
I do not like the Bucks new character. To be honest with you,
no, actually, I disagree. I do like their new heel characters, like they're playing up on their EVP status right now. I do like that. Because what was funny, I guess last week, 2 Wednesdays ago, where I guess they attacked Tony Schiavone, and then this week they brought him in, and they were one of them said that they apologized, they tripped over themselves, and that they happened to fall into Tony, and as a apologize for a gift to show their apologize, they had a $25 gift card from Amazon for Tony. I laughed funny. It was like,
but by the end of the segment, they fined him $100.
No. They fined him $1,000 the week beforehand.
Oh, right.
So Tony asked if they rescinded that $1,000 fine. And he's like, no, that's out of our hands. So, but it was hilarious. I really enjoyed the heel EVPs from the Young Bucks. I thought that was really funny. And that was on. Oh no. We got Thurman's #1 fan coming in.
What's up, Tex?
Oh my God. I get to talk to my favorite YouTuber, Thurman Israel. I can't believe he invited me to his show.
Hold on, how did Rose know this was Tex?
Because I'm not stupid.
Well, do you not know my voice by now? I mean, it's not like we haven't talked for years on top of it. Like, come on now.
No, I know it's you now, but I'm talking about before you even said anything. He said, hi, Tex.
What up, Rose? What are you assholes doing on here tonight?
I was talking about.
I'm simulcasting with Casey, and I'm doing my thing, and we're just doing Casey's shit show over here. I mean, Saturday night show over here.
Isn't that what Casey always does? Is a shit show? I think he's mastered that.
And true. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why people watch me, but
well, it could. I do have a theory. It's like, okay, have you ever gone to like Walmart at like 10 o'clock at night to feel better about yourself, to look at everybody else, like just to see the cretins that come out, and you're like, wow, I'm not doing so bad in life. I really don't look that bad. I mean, if you ever get down in life, just go do that. You know, when you see the gigantic sweat hogs in the in the clothes they shouldn't be wearing, it's a motivational thing. So.
Well, that's a good point. Like if I'm gonna go to Walmart, like I can understand if I'm gonna go to gas station just across the street or something. I'm like, okay, I'm not
Right.
gonna get fully changed. Like, I'll wear my sweatpants and shirt there. But if I'm gonna go to Walmart, like, I'm gonna at least put shorts or pants on and like socks and shoes
Well,
on, so it can be a little bit more presentable. I'm not gonna
if
go
I
in
know
there.
Casey, he ain't going to be seen in public unless he's wearing his best wrestling T-shirt. By God, it's going to be clean with only like 3 mustard stains from Sonic. You know, at the most 3, like no
Exactly.
more than that. So you know,
No,
he'll do the old sniff under the armpit to see how revolting he smells. You know, it's a whole process for this guy. So you know what you gonna do.
Tex, you know me well. Because I'm like, oh my God,
I've studied you, my friend. I look at you as if like I'm going to the zoo and I'm studying the creatures there. That's kind of how I look at these things. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's all good. But, you know, what you going to do? So what did you find gentlemen do this day? Did y'all have a good one or anything fun, exciting happen?
Yeah, I just went out with my brothers for the afternoon, and
Oh, nice.
I didn't stay up to watch the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. To watch it while
there
it
was a
live,
wrestling pay-per-view,
and I'm so glad I didn't.
No,
that show was
I didn't know they had one.
That show was not worth watching at 5:00 in the morning. No, thank you.
Exactly.
Well, hang on. Why are they having a wrestling pay-per-view at 5:00 in the morning?
Because they were in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they did the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view in Perth, Australia today, and their time zone is 13 hours ahead of mine. So I fell asleep 10 minutes. I fell asleep 10 minutes before it started, and I woke up like 6.5 hours later. I watched half of it, and then I went out for about 6 hours. Then I came home and watched the rest of it. And then Casey begged me to be on his show because he had nobody else. So,
hold on, beg. That's a little harsh word. I mean, just because I said please, would he come on? That's not begging. If
Casey totally wasn't crying whenever he asked too. He wasn't like, please come on my show. I have nothing. I have nobody. Please. He totally wasn't doing that.
I mean,
Mister, I'm going to have someone else on too. Meanwhile, I left him to do the first 24 minutes of the show by himself, and he barely had anything to talk about. He almost gave up on his own show because I wasn't here on time.
No, that's not true. I was going through some of the topics a little bit, but
you told me you were grasping at straws, man.
I was trying. Okay, I was trying to make you feel bad for being late. All right. I was trying to guilt. I'm not gonna lie. I was trying to guilt trip you a little bit.
Do you honestly think you can guilt trip me into anything? Like, I give a shit if I'm here on time.
Casey's just trying. Casey's trying to emulate
my own fucking show, let alone be on time for you.
He's just trying to make people feel bad for him so they come talk to him on the internet. That's what he's doing.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I see what he's doing. He's like, oh, you know, I have no friends. Blah, blah, blah. I'm an asshole. People hate me. You know, just that whole kind of shit. But, you know,
I mean,
what you going to do?
I think people think I'm a nice guy because I was talking to Rose about I went to AEW this past Wednesday and talked about my...
How bad was the BO smell in that place?
Oh, God.
So it's
That's
really
all I needed. Okay.
Fans don't shower before they go to a wrestling.
You don't even need to. No further explanation needed. Oh God, was all. That's about what I figured. I mean, I've seen that crowd. There's near a woman in sight of any of them people in there. But
that's
God bless them. I'm sure their mothers love them. But what you gonna do?
There was 2 older women that was sitting beside me. There was one to my left and one.
Oh, nice.
But they're older women. But
Well, did you propose to be the meat in their sandwich? If you know what I'm saying, and I think you do.
Nah,
Did they smell like week old tuna fish?
Casey likes tuna fish. He's fine with that. He don't care.
But what was interesting was that the tickets. This is the closest I was able to watch everything. It wasn't like as like every time I go to WWE shows, I would usually have to look at the Titantron or to see what's going on. This
Well, that's
time
because
I was
AEW is having a problem pulling in fans, so you're probably able to get a decent seat for once.
Yeah, but I also paid a little bit more than I usually pay for WWE tickets. Usually I'll pay like between $30 and $60 a ticket for WWE's. I paid a little over 90. And so
because AEW has a problem overcharging for their tickets and booking venues they can't sell out.
Well, but I had a fun time. I don't see why the hate for AEW, because one,
it's called tribalism, and they like to pick on a company that is going to just constantly make mistake after mistake.
Well, you're not going to be perfect right out of the. There's growing pains
right out of the gate. Casey, they've been around for almost 5 years.
Yeah, but
there is no fucking right out of the gate anymore. They came out of that gate. They came out of that gate doing things better than they are now.
Well, go ahead, Tex. Did we lose Tex?
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Sorry, my lady's calling. I may not have long. No, I was going to say that AEW. I don't keep up with it, but their new, like, if they were a car, that new car smell wore out a long time ago. They don't get the excuse of, oh, we're just starting. Like, that's not a thing anymore. So if they suck, they just suck. But
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they came out, they came out doing things better than than some things they're doing now.
Well, maybe
I don't know exactly how many years they've been out, but I would say
it's been about 4.5 years.
I would say by year 3, you should have your shit figured out. If you're going to.
That.
Okay, so what's the number then? If it's not 3 years, is it 5? Is it 10? What's your number?
Well, they use what people says to be profitable. Some companies, it's between 3 and 5 years to be profitable,
which is what they're
okay. So I'm so yeah. If they're like Rose says, and they're at 5 years, and they're still not. From the way it sounds, not doing well, then.
They're doing better than another. They're doing better than any other competing company against WWE would be doing.
Well,
I'm sure, but they're not.
Like I said, I don't know all the facts, but one thing that you do have to keep in mind is, I know they're not owned by Warner Brothers, but they partner with them, and that might be the worst studio to be paired to, because they've got financial troubles at the yin yang. They're still trying to partner up with I think Paramount, and there's a lot. That whole studio's messed up. Just look at that whole Coyote versus Acme mess, the Batgirl mess.
I've been hearing about the Coyote versus Acme one. I really
look how deep they are in the hole. You've got James Gunn trying to restart the DCU over there, but who knows how that's going to go. And with them trying
universe, that's a real fucking problem.
Well, no, it's restarting next year with James Gunn's Superman movie. They just haven't made it yet. But the scariest thing about Warner Brothers is on the financial side. They paired with in the last few years that they've been through 2 mergers, and they're trying to do a third. That's not a good business sign. I mean,
Because
it's just one of those things.
well, when you merge, you take on their debt as well. So it's not like,
Right.
oh,
Well,
no,
this is. We'll see. The first merger was AT&T. Then I forget who the second one. Oh, Discovery Plus, or it was AT&T.
oh, I don't know what happened.
God damn it! I hate being interrupted. That bugs the shit out of me.
Me too.
What's
Man.
that
Jesus.
video game, lover?
The minute she gets home, I'm chewing her ass. I swear to God. But anyways, like I said,
Wait. You're gonna chew her ass in more ways than one, though, right?
you ain't got no idea, buddy. But yeah, like I said, I don't know all the I don't know all the details of the AEW business side. I couldn't imagine. The last time I kept up with it, they weren't doing well, and I don't figure it got any better. So, I mean,
well, like I said
it
before,
is what it is.
I don't know if you heard it, Tess, but their problem is the problem they're having is they're booking venues that are bigger than what they can sell. They're booking venues bigger than what they can sell out, and they're overcharging for their tickets.
And it's probably not helping anything that WWE is doing all right now, from the way it seems.
Right, WWE is doing better than they have in like the last, I would say, 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't. Now, is it Cody versus Roman at Mania, right?
Yes,
or is it Rock?
It's Cody and Roman.
Okay, the last I heard, the last thing that I saw was, that they did a Vegas press conference on Super Bowl weekend.
Right.
That's the last thing I saw.
Yep.
So I didn't know if anything had changed otherwise.
Well, they had no choice. They had no choice but to change it because, from what I'm understanding, The Rock had a deal in place that if he joined TKO, part of his deal was he was going to get a match with Roman at WrestleMania, and Triple H apparently didn't know much about it. Triple H didn't know much about that, so he kept going on with his plans, which is why Cody won the Rumble. And then when things came to light and they had to start changing the storyline, that's why Cody said, "I'm coming for you, but not right now." And then he said that he gave his match to The Rock. Fans were not happy. Fans booed the shit out of The Rock. Rocky sucks, this and that, and The Rock being The Rock just played into it.
Well, to be fair, I could see why fans would be upset, because you've had 3 years doing this whole Cody Rhodes thing, and then The Rock just appears out of nowhere. Yeah, I'd have problems with that too.
Yeah, well, it'll be 2 years because this will be their second match.
Or 2 years, whatever.
But yeah, so The Rock comes out of nowhere, gets the match. Triple H really didn't know much, and they even played it up like this was a really big thing too, even at the press conference. Because Cody had said something about The Rock's family. Rock was pissed. Told Triple H, "You need to fix it. This is bullshit." He's saying stuff about our family, and this and that. And he goes, "You better fix this, or I'm going to knock your fucking teeth down your throat." That's what he told Triple H.
Yeah, I saw that part. That was at the Vegas thing. I saw because Rock slapped Cody. There was like a fake fight. They're like, "Oh, blah 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 blah," and they're like fake holding each other back. It actually looked kind of pitiful. I mean, I'm sorry, but if if anybody slaps me, but especially a grown man, I'm beating your ass. I mean, either with my hands, or if I can't do it with my hands, I'm going to find the nearest heaviest object and going upside your head with it. But that's just how I operate.
I think
whatever.
I think they're trying to steal the idea from UFC, where a lot of times UFC, they'll have like little spouts at the weigh-ins.
At the weigh-ins. Yeah, at the weigh-ins, yeah.
Or the press conference where They'll get like someone
Yeah.
will pie fat.
Well,
face
Conor
someone.
McGregor made those moments famous. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say now, if they really want to make wrestling worth watching and interesting, bring in like Conor McGregor and just have him shit talk. That I would tune in for. Then you'll have my attention.
See,
But-
the thing is Conor McGregor even still work for UFC? I
He
mean,
fights
I haven't
once
heard
in
him
a
No,
while.
shit with the UFC.
he Conor McGregor, he's got his own whiskey company, and the last I heard from him was he was considering running for political office over in Ireland, like with how bad things are getting over there. So, but
He does
I don't
still
think
I
he
mean, I
fights
haven't seen
anymore.
him.
He doesn't fight that often, but he fights.
Yeah,
I mean, I know
but
he didn't his. I think the last fight he was in, didn't he lose?
I believe
Or
so.
am I
I
wrong?
think so. I think he did.
I mean,
I think he
you're not
lost.
gonna
I'm
win
not
them
for sure.
all.
Either way, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, as far as that whole wrestling thing goes, why AEW's failing. I mean, when I was keeping up with what I did, it wasn't that good to begin with. The only people who liked it was about 1 million hardcore wrestling nerds that wear the T-shirts everywhere. It wasn't for a casual audience. I'm not surprised that it's not doing well.
AEW
I
has
mean-
only ever hit the million mark on TV like 3 times, and 2 of them had to do with.
That's what I'm saying. Even at its best, it was about 1 million people, which is niche at best. So
And like I
whatever
said-
they're doing
like I said,
now,
2 of those nights involved CM Punk. So what does that tell you?
right? So it's I mean, I'm not saying it's if that's what you like, great. I mean, it's I don't care. Like what you like, but I mean, it's like with me. Okay, like most of my favorite like movies are stuff that a minute part of the audience even cares about. It's some of my favorites don't even get released in theaters and stuff. So I know what I know what being a fan of a niche product is, but it's just if it's true what Rose is saying about they're trying to book like Cowboy Stadium for a wrestling event, and you can't fill an end zone. Why are you going to that big
they're
of a
trying
place?
to book stadiums. They're just trying to book arenas that are bigger than what the amount of tickets are they're selling. Like WWE right now, WWE gets about 10 to 12,000 fans in the doors to the arenas that they book. AEW right now is lucky if they get 4 to 5,000 people.
So it's like visibly noticeable, like
oh yeah,
you can just see
AEW
empty seats everywhere.
AEW is only as lucky to get on a good night half of the tickets sold for a weekly show that WWE is selling.
Jesus.
Well,
so what they need to do is book smaller venues to make their shows look more sold out. Until they can prove that they could sell 10,000 seats again, like they did at that All-In show, which is why AEW became a thing in the first place.
Well, I think what they should do is cut their prices. And
that would certainly help. Yeah, if they lowered the prices, that would also certainly help. Absolutely.
Well,
or just put on. I mean, don't they have like every wrestler under the sun sign that's not working for WWE? You're telling me you've got all that talent and you can't put a good show together?
I mean, they do put good shows together. It's just that the people don't consistently watch. Like some people will watch, and then the next week they won't. And then they'll come back and maybe a month or so later and watch again, and then the next week they won't. But yeah, they need right now to book smaller venues, and they need to definitely lower the prices of their tickets. That would certainly help.
Yeah,
because you see on Twitter all the time that people are complaining about their tickets being too much money.
Well, look at the price of everything. I mean, even the price for a movie ticket is outrageous. I mean, everything costs more.
The last time I went to the movies, I paid $13.75, I think, and that was when I saw what movie did I see with my brother when I paid that? I want to say it was
What's up, TSS?
I don't remember. Yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you
What's up, TSS?
the name of that movie.
Well, look at life in general. Remember when you could go to like McDonald's and get like a ton of food for $10?
Dude, I remember when the fucking dollar menu was a thing. Now, you could go menu anymore.
It wasn't even 10 years ago. You could go get dollar double cheeseburgers, and they, it was enough to, and they actually. I mean, it was never good food. It was McDonald's food, but it would at least fill you up for a while.
Don't you disparage the good name of McDonald's. I mean, hey, those cheeseburgers will still be good if they're cold. I mean, I'm sure that horse meat or kangaroo, whatever it happens to be made of, tastes fine.
Those burgers are so fucking flat, you can't even call them a hamburger. Come on.
One of my kids got a McDonald's burger the other day. The meat patty on it wasn't even a quarter of an inch thick.
Right.
It was microscopic. Like it was. I'm like, it was like. I mean, I joked like it was so thin you could almost see through it. But I mean, it's whatever. But it's just. I mean, the price of a McDonald's meal. Or pick your favorite fast food chain, whatever.
Yeah.
Is 2 or 3 times what it should be. But this is the world that we live in, and unfortunate, wrestling tickets. I mean, like I said, Casey said he spent more than he normally does, so
yeah,
that's why. I mean, you're putting on a crap product and you're overcharging for it. So, I mean, if people aren't going to watch it for free at home, they're not going to pay to go see it in person. But
yeah,
that's business. So, but either way, my people just got here, so I'm going to go hang up with y'all, and I'm going to chew my old lady out for being an annoying son of a bitch tonight. So y'all have fun. And then after I have my moment of chewing her out, she'll, give me the bitch treatment. And I'll probably be sleeping on the couch, but I'll make sure to get laid first, so it'll be fine. So
get laid first and then chew her ass.
Right. Well, see, I should probably write that down. Like, get laid first, then yell. That's probably the correct order I should do this.
Like when you finish. It's like,
Casey,
all right.
Wait a minute. Casey giving text advice? What fucking world are we living in tonight?
Well, he's not really giving me advice. I'm just being nice because it's his show, and I'm letting give him a little street cred. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. It's nothing.
A clock is right 2 times. A broken clock is right 2 times a day. I just happen to be right once. So. I'm
but either way, boys, I just wanted to call in because Casey. Oh, you can't ever come by my show. He had to bitch about it the other day. When I think it was over on Alex's show or somebody's. I can't remember whose it was, but I had a few moments. I thought I would make an appearance and make Casey. I know it's he's having his monthlies and he felt a little emotional, so I had to do whatever. But y'all have fun with your wrestling, and I guess go try not to kill each other, but do what you got to do. So.
TSS says that's why McDonald's rumored to be adding more food to their dollar menu because their sale has fallen to react to it. Huh.
I don't know. I won't eat McDonald's, but like I said, my kid got it. It didn't even I had a couple fries. They were okay, but it was. I'm good.
I still love their nuggets. I had nuggets and fries for lunch today. That was my meal. I fucking love their chicken nuggets.
I had tacos for lunch. It was pretty daggum good. So.
Well, I appreciate you coming by, Tex.
Yeah.
So, I will say
you
this,
boys have fun.
Before Tex hangs up, I will say this: McDonald's over the next 5 weeks, they're going to be getting more of my money than they normally would because the Shamrock Shakes are back, and I fucking love those things.
I think they're overrated.
I think they just splooge in it, and so it tastes a little different, and you're just eating that shit. So,
It's
you
probably
know,
out. It's probably expired like vanilla shakes. They're like,
well, let's say they probably get all the male cooks back there, go jerk off into the cup before they give it to you, and they stir it
oh,
up so it don't look funny, and you're just getting, you're just getting a cup full of, man sauce. But hey, if
Well,
you
then
like it, I'm not gonna,
how do you explain the
you
mint
know.
taste then?
Well, they got to do something to cover it up. They probably throw some food coloring on it. Hell, I don't know. I'm not the one jerking off into milkshakes. They are. Go ask them. So either way, that's fine.
Jesus Christ.
But all right, well, you boys have fun, and I'll see y'all down the road. So,
Yep. Have a good night, Tex.
bye, bitches.
see you, Tex. Thank you for coming by. See you, bro. So, but I had a fun time with AEW. The only complaint I had was not from AEW side, as these electronic ticket bullshit. Like I had a problem with Ticketmaster, and I was like, I showed him, I was like, I paid for it. I missed the days of you actually getting a physical ticket where, like, okay, I got my ticket. There should be no problem. Where I'm trying to bring up a freaking Gmail where my account is, and then, like, I'm like, it's a freaking runaround just to get your barcode. So it was a nightmare. It took me like 20 minutes to get through the scanner, but finally did. But that was not AEW side's fault, but they had a really long line for for their merchandise stand, but they didn't have a lot to sell. But I wanted a T-shirt, and I wanted to get like a hoodie, but I didn't see no hoodie. But wanted an AEW shirt, and if and they had two belts to sell. They had obviously the AEW World Belt and the TNT belt, but they are both super expensive. The World Belt was $850.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, while the TNT belt was 700.
I don't even think WWE sells any of their belts for half of that fucking amount for a
I
replica.
think there's about $500 ish, but that's like for their. I mean, if you want the deluxe ones, yeah, I can understand in the thousands. But when I'm like, I wanted a AEW belt, but I'm not paying $850 for that.
I wouldn't blame you. Fuck that.
TSS says SeatGeek is better because all you had to do is make a account with them, and the electronic ticket is there. Well, I didn't. Apparently, I forgot about my account with Ticketmasters because I don't go to a lot of these events that often, so I had to change the password to my Ticketmaster fucking account. It was just a lot of crazy things. TSS says not exactly. There's some belts on WWE where they're selling for $1,000. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Um, that some of them are pretty expensive, especially I'm
Right, but I'm
pretty
saying
sure.
for like their, not bottom of the barrel, but like the standard
Yeah, like their
replica belt
standard.
that you can buy at like Monday Night Raw. They don't sell for like fucking $800.
I think they're like $500.
Right. So again, that's just AEW overpricing their shit.
Yeah, I agree with that because, I mean, it looked good, but I'm like, I'm not paying that. There was one dude who was on the floor. Every once in a while, someone says, "Whose house?" And it's
Where's house?
yeah. But then at one point, there was this dude on the floor, AEW World Champion, and he flaunts his belt that he paid I'm like, oh, I'm happy that you paid over $850 for that belt.
Right? Fucking
Yeah.
moron.
Yeah. So I'm like, I wanted an AEW belt, but I'm not paying that. But the show was fun. The two dark matches, you had the Dark Order versus Brandon Cutler and Colt Cabana. Like I said, Colt Cabana was really funny in that tag team. And then the second one had Evil Uno versus some other dude. And Evil Uno should not wear. He wears a vest now instead of a shirt, or he should be wearing a shirt. He at one point he took it off, and I was like, ugh. Like I mean, I think I look better with my shirt off than he did.
That's a little hard to believe, but okay.
But I'm like, ugh, dude, put that back on. But that was a good match. But then obviously the FTR versus John Moxley and Claudio was the best match out of the whole show. And then the main event for Dynamite was good. When they got to Rampage, I was getting tired. I felt Rampage should have been taped before Dynamite.
That's what I was telling you the other night. I thought that's what they did.
No, because I figured because, like I said, they opened at 6:30. Luckily, I left earlier because one, I don't go to the city that often, and I took me a little time to find a parking spot. I wasn't too far away from the BOK Center, but oh, hey, sorry about that.
That's the first time I think I've heard him make noise ever.
Well, he hears voices every once in a while, but
What is he, Randy Orton?
Randy Orton. No, oh, I see why it's my neighbors going upstairs. I can hear them again. It's almost 10 o'clock and they're going to start making a lot of noise. It's a whole fucking family up there.
That's a little inconsiderate, but if there's no noise curfew, I guess there's nothing you can do about it, right?
Now they're running around. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Dude, guys, calm down. So, no, but I'm glad that I left about an hour early because one, trying to find a parking spot, two, having that huge problem going through the gate, and then I made the mistake of eating something there because I forgot going to these events how close these seats were. They're not as close as they were at Dallas Stadium, where like you're literally on top of the next person. I actually had a little room, but I bought nachos, and like I'm sitting between two set of couples.
You were just there farting up a storm all night?
No, but I was eating my nachos, trying to finish it, and then the woman to my right left. I was like, you know what? I was pretty much done with the nachos, and the show hadn't started yet. It's like, so I dumped that and just stayed in my seat until the whole show was over. But yeah, you had Dynamite was live, and then they recorded Rampage afterwards.
Did you stay for Rampage or no?
No, I stayed for Rampage. Wasn't paid $90. I'm staying for the fucking show. But oh gosh, but by Rampage, I was tired. It was just plus all the good stuff was already done. I mean, there was the funny bit with the Young Bucks and Tony Schiavone. That was funny. But there wasn't really much afterwards. They had a couple women's matches during Rampage. I'm like, So I was like, I'm not into watching women wrestling.
Well, then you certainly weren't going to like the Elimination Chamber tonight or this morning.
No, that's mine. I would give the WWE with their. I always okay with the women's special matches like the Elimination Chambers and the Royal Rumbles and stuff like that. I usually can get behind that, but if it's like, especially if it's like tag teams or trios, and like I'm like, God, I don't care. I mean, it's
Right. That's why I
pointless.
said you wouldn't have liked the Elimination Chamber then. Like I said, first of all, one match, one of the women's matches was on the pre-show, anyways. So the main
Oh, you're
show
talking
only
about
had
the.
4 matches.
Oh, I thought you meant the women's match of the Elimination Chamber. You're talking about the whole pay per view.
Well, yeah, I figured the pay-per-view as a whole because it had 3 women's matches out of 5,
Yeah.
and one of them was on the pre-show. So the main show, as it was, only had 4 matches, anyways.
Well, lately WWE Triple H likes to have those the card match numbers real low now. I mean, they want
Yeah,
to
but
actually have
I've never seen a wrestling pay-per-view only have 4 matches on it.
the Royal Rumble did.
Royal Rumble had 5.
Did it? I was pretty sure they had
The Rumble, I think, had 5.
I was pretty sure it was 4 as well. But uh Rampage was not, it was okay. Dynamite was better, but I enjoyed my time. And honestly, Tony Khan was there. He came out a few times. And honestly, I might be a mark for this one. But I don't see the hate for Tony Khan because I could watch him and you could see the passion about his show, his company.
That's why people
And,
make fun of him. They just think he's a wrestling mark.
but
Like a
okay,
fan.
I mean, at least he cares about wrestling in his company. While Vince McMahon, the only reason Vince is a billionaire is because of WWE, and they didn't want to be part of wrestling. He hates the word wrestling. He wants to be a part of a TV show or a movie. He did not be. That's why he always wanted to try other adventures, like with the bodybuilding deal, the
And the
football,
XFL.
yeah, football, and then also the movies because he's trying to do something that is not wrestling related. And guess what? The one thing makes him a billionaire he hates, you know? While Tony Khan actually cares about the product and actually cares about his company and he cares about his fans. So I mean, yeah, they can call him a mark, but I respect Tony Khan as a owner than Vince. I mean,
Well,
does that make
nobody's going to fucking no one's going to respect Vince now.
Oh no. Tia says the fan base told me this show was amazing. I watched it and I thought it was okay. Both companies are overhyped these days. I agree with that. But I also thought when I went to the show, it was like, well, AEW would at least have the better wrestling matches. And I was correct because the opening match for Dynamite was the best match of the night. And then the main event was great. And then you had Wardlow finally making a change. And it was a good show. So, and then TSS brings this up. There's nothing wrong with this when TKO fully takes over WWE. All the Vince stuff is over. Fans are going to realize that maybe a Mark running a show maybe not be all that bad. No, I agree. I like Tony Khan. I think the guy's Does he do some stupid stuff? Yes. He responds to comments that he shouldn't. But, when he did, like, some of the press conference, when, he interacts with his wrestlers, I like. But there's sometimes he needs to be more serious. And it's just, but, I mean, the guy has so much on his plate. I mean, not only has two wrestling companies, by the way. Then you have the football team he has, and then I think he has a soccer team in England.
Technically, his father has the football team. I don't think he does much.
Yeah, but
I don't think he has much to do with the football team.
Which one? The Jaguars?
The Jaguars, yeah.
Well, I'm sure he still does something with the Jaguars. I'm sure he doesn't like go recruit people, but I'm sure his main priority is AEW Ring of Honor. But hey, I'm gonna walk Dukas for a second. So will you take over while I walk Dukas for a minute?
All right. I don't know what you want me to talk about because I don't really have anything off the top of my head.
Just make some bullshit up.
Make some bullshit up. Great. Casey put me on the spot, you guys.
I'm only going to be gone for a minute. Talk about what did you think about the Nintendo Direct or something like that. Or actually, I have an idea we could talk about because I kind of talked about this with.
All right, let me see your chat so I can see what's going on over here. It's mostly TSS is like the only one commenting right now. What's going on to Video Game Lover? What's going on to BAM, TSS, Tour Capture, Gorilla Strong. We got Zakaria Khan. The Rock says he will beat the Stardust out of him. We got EJ. EJ was here before. So was Randy Viper. Costanza. What's going on, guys? TSS, what did you think of that Nintendo Direct? I might as well take Casey's lead. That partner Direct. Personally, I thought it was kind of meh, in my opinion. There was like maybe one game I liked out of the whole showcase, and now I don't even remember the name of it. And the rare games, the rareware titles that got added to the Switch Online. That's really the only segments of the partner Direct I actually cared about. As I grab another soda right quick, I'll wait for your response. And my alarm's actually going to go off in 2 minutes. You're going to hear that go off because I got to take my pills. So in 2 minutes, you're going to hear a loud, like a bell ringing sound. So for those of you watching my stream, I have things paused at the moment until Casey returns so I can keep an eye on his chat and whatnot. So if you're watching my stream, that's why my game is paused. Just seeing what's going on in the world of everything.
All right, I'm back. So, he doesn't take too long. He's a good boy. But the other thing I want to bring up, the topic, I talked about this by myself, but how Mother 3 finally came out for the Nintendo Switch on the Game Boy Advance online service.
There goes my alarm, guys. Pill time! Yay! I get to take
You
legal
actually have a-
drugs.
Hold on. You actually have a pill time clock?
Yeah, because if I don't, I keep forgetting to take them.
Uh,
And it was my female friend that suggested that I do this alarm
It
so
sounds
that
like-
I remember to take my pills.
it sounds like you have like the old timey alarm clock.
That
Like the
was
one-
the Presto setting on my iPhone. Actually,
Well, it sounds like you have an old clock with the bells where like it's like, let me pull this one out of storage that I had. But
good Mountain Dew.
so
right
yeah,
there.
Mother 3 has officially re-released on the Game Boy Advance on the Nintendo Switch service. The problem is, and if you guys know what Mother 3 is, it's the third game in the Mother series that's in Japan, but is known in America as the Earthbound series, where we here internationally from outside Japan, we only got Earthbound Beginnings that never had a physical copy out. That is the NES version of the Famicom of Mother 1. There were prototypes of that game out there where the whole Mother 1 was translated, and it was originally going to be called Earthbound, 2 words. And it was leaked out. People made reproduction carts of it. And it eventually had official release in the Wii U eShop under the name Earthbound Beginnings. And then we had what people called Earthbound, is the Super Famicom version is called Mother 2. Mother 3 was supposed to be the N64 version of Earthbound. It was supposed to come out Earthbound 64 for N64. Actually, it's supposed to came out for the disk drive that was only available in Japan. Well, North America, outside Japan, that never got released.
That's because it sold so poorly in Japan. That's why.
Well, one, it was on the very later stages of
That too.
N64. Plus, tried to buy the disk drive, you had to go through the magazine or something like that just to even buy the fucking thing. And Earthbound 64 got canceled, and they repackaged it in as Mother 3 for the Game Boy Advance. But it never got outside Japan. And I think there's a couple reasons. TSS says he thinks it's just because of the music. I think it's the music. I think there's copyright things they have to be careful with. And I think the biggest reason is that Nintendo just didn't do an English translation of it. I mean, the game is like at least 25 hours long. So you had to translate all that stuff. Well, at least with Mother 1 / Earthbound Beginnings, the prototype for that, it was all translated to English. So Nintendo had the translation already. That's why they were able just as like put it on the Wii U eShop, and honestly, they eventually put that on the Nintendo Switch online service. Now, I feel like that's why we never got Mother 3 is because there's no English translation out there. And if they do, they had to put so much more time to do it. Some people, like I think TSS think they're probably making a remake of it. I mean, I would love to see them to, like, there's a fan made 3D version of Mother 3. It kind of looks like the Link's Awakening remake for the Switch. It looks like that. And I was like, I would love that they would do that. But the rest of the world got screwed out of Mother 3 again. And I think this time they try to do it under the radar because they released a trailer through their Japanese YouTube channel. And so they try to do it under the radar where it wouldn't be as a big deal. But I didn't watch the direct. TSS, I know, watched it. He said he gives it a C+. I know the Rose said he wasn't impressed with it either.
Yeah, it was kind of lame, in my opinion.
So
I was happy that Killer Instinct, the Super Nintendo version, came out on the Switch online finally, because the version on the Xbox is the arcade version, and that's not the version I grew up on as a kid. I actually streamed, again, another cheap plug of mine. I actually streamed Killer Instinct last night. I actually played the arcade version on the Xbox, and then I went over to the Switch and I played the version I grew up on. So you can check out both versions in my stream that I did last night on my channel.
Well, as not only that, they had a bunch of rare games with Killer Instinct. They had a bunch
of Snake Rattle and Roll,
RC Pro-Am.
Yeah, RC Pro-Am.
A Battletoad game for the Super Nintendo, and an N64 game.
Right.
So,
yes. I don't remember the N64 game though.
It was like Blast something. You're a mech going around and destroying a bunch of buildings. Let's see. TSS went in with low expectation because presentation it's to just a hold over until the console direct for the summer. I don't know if that's.
We haven't gotten a full direct yet this year. I don't think they're going to wait until June. I think we'll get one sooner than that.
At
least I fucking hope we do.
I think we'll probably have to wait till June.
I mean, we're going to get the Pokemon Presents thing next week as well on Tuesday, so that's going to cover more Switch news, but I feel like they could have, maybe if the Pokemon Presents thing wasn't next week, then maybe they would have had a full-on direct, but I don't know.
I don't know. I was kind of hoping for something better. I mean,
I tell you what, gaming is not in a good place right now. I tell you that right now. 2024 for video games is not the year. I can tell you that.
No, I agree with that.
And I say that because Sony already said last week that, and we're going to talk more about this stuff tomorrow in LTS, but they said last week they're not releasing any first-party titles before April of 2025. Xbox is beginning to go third-party because they are releasing 4 of their games to the PlayStation 5. Those games were unnamed. However, one of them will be Hi-Fi Rush because the developers of the game actually posted a trailer for the PS5 version on their Twitter. So that's one game we know of out of the 4 that Xbox is giving up exclusivity to. And then the Switch the Switch, it was speculated heavily that the Switch 2 was going to come out by the end of this year, and now it's reportedly being delayed until next year because I don't exactly know why, actually.
Well, I'm gonna read this comment for TSS. It says it's not that I think they will remake it. That if Mother 3 was to ever come out in America, the only way I see it is if they would remake it so they can get rid of all the copyright problems they could. Yeah, that's a great point. I agree with that.
Well, never say never, because the original Fire Emblem game, which released in 1992, I believe it was,
Yeah.
or 1991, that finally came to the U.S. fully translated by Nintendo themselves 30 years later, because they released that Fire Emblem 30-year anniversary timed release game. And unfortunately, as much as I wanted it, I couldn't get the collector's edition because it sold out, because of course it did. So I got so mad about it that I said fuck it, and I decided not to buy it at all.
Well, see, here's the thing: if there's a copyright problem, why is it only in Japan? Why would we release it on the Japan side? And like, yeah, I know there's copyright laws that are different from different country to country to country, but I mean, you don't need to have a Japanese console to get Mother 3. You just have to have a count under. If you're saying you're in Japan, you can get it. And I got it on my Switch. Problem is, you would have to know how to play it and work around the Japanese words.
Yeah, it's called the language barrier, Casey.
Yeah, the language barrier, yes. So, I mean, it sucks because I think we would have a chance for Mother 4, or if they just finally release it on the English version for the rest of the world. And honestly, what I hear, anyways, a lot of the other countries outside America, they speak English, or they can understand English in a way. So there's no reason why they couldn't just do it. But like, if it's copyright issues, I mean, why would they release it in Japan and not for us? If it's the copyright issue,
Because copyright laws in Japan are different than here.
yeah, but you figure Nintendo would be like more careful about copyright things, anyways. Well, this one right here, because the copyright music in Mother 3, the songs are American inspired with similar notes and stuff. Is hard to explain because I'm not a music theorist, but it's the simple explain. It's hard for me to pronounce that, but explained. But no, I'm not saying you're wrong, TSS. It's just interesting why release it on the Japan side if they have all these copyright issues. But like, I still think it's because they don't want to put. It's like they have the ROM there at Nintendo, and they don't have the English translation for it. And if they have to translate it, I mean, that's more hours and hours and hours that they're going to put onto the system. They're not going to really see the money coming back. It's something they can copy and paste and put it on there and go. I mean, that's why I was saying with Mother 1, I mean, they already had a prototype for the NES version that was fully translated. And yes, they had some stuff they changed from from Mother 1 to Earthbound, what we know as Earthbound Beginnings. There, because copyright issues. But you figure by Mother 3, they would be more careful with the copyright stuff, right? But I don't know. It just ticks me off that they would. It finally comes out, but they still stick it to the international people instead of releasing it finally. It's like an example, there part in Mother 3 music that is ripped from one of the Beatles songs. Yeah, I know it's one of them that sounds close. A lot of them sounds like I think in Mother 1 it sounds like Johnny Be Good song. So I don't know. I just wish they would finally get translated and I play it on the Switch instead of playing a fan translation version on the Game Boy Advance. I would love to have it on the Switch and, be able to lay on the couch or in bed and play Mother 3. But, I don't know. But, because back in that time, Nintendo didn't care about Game Boy Advance at that time because Mother 3 came out right before DS came out. Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, like I said, never say never because they had to translate that Fire Emblem game. So
yeah, it just it tears a hole in my heart because about it, because the Earthbound / Mother series I'm a fan of, and Mother I've been playing through Mother 3 and doing that whole video about Mother 3 coming to the Game Boy Advance Nintendo Switch online service made me go ahead and play another episode of Mother 3 because I've been meaning to go back to it. I'm going to try to chip away at Mother 3. But it's been a very good game, very emotional. Especially, there's a lot of emotional things in there, but some of the stuff I've been gone through kind of makes it a little bit more emotional. But moving on, did me and you talk about the gaming? What's the future of gaming? I know I talked to that about with no, that was me and Brad.
right,
no,
yeah, I wasn't on last week.
It was me and Brad's, and then I brought that up to Filthy Mouth Gamer about the whole thing. I think that this is a bonus topic. I can go ahead and wrap up after this, but what do you think about the future of gaming is going? Honestly, everything's going digital, but
which is not a good thing at all.
No, definitely not. We're already seeing the signs that some Walmarts and Best Buys a lot of them are starting to fade out of physical media. And, but.
Well, like I said, Xbox already started, putting the wheels in motion to go third party. So, but yet they're saying the next Xbox console is going to be the most powerful game console you've ever seen. So, apparently they're planning one more. Apparently they're planning at least one more console. But if they're going to plan on being digital only with it, I don't know how well it's going to do.
That's there's a difference when Nintendo's doing their own thing where they're step behind of generation. Actually, now they're 2 steps behind now. But with the Xbox, they're of course it's going to be the more powerful system they ever made. I'm duh, because let's say they make a system out that's less powerful than the Series X. I'm we got our brand new console, our next generation console It's just going to be a little less powerful than the Series X. I'm like, then what's the point in getting that one? I'm like, I see the thing with Microsoft. I mean, at least Sony with their PS5, if you have their digital system and or the physical, they have the same horsepower across the board. It's just one has a disk drive and the other one doesn't. Well,
One has a bigger hard
Xbox,
drive too, I believe.
I don't know, probably. But as of Xbox, they're like, you can have the Series X. Not only it's more powerful, it has a disk drive, but if you want the Series S, all your games are going to be digital, and it's going to be less powerful. Like, home, why would you get the anemic version? Like, at least if you're going to have a digital version, at least have it the same power of the other with this drive. One. Let's see what TSS says. Once it goes all digital, I'm switching to PC and Nintendo for me. Because Sony and Xbox already. Yeah, I agree. Because Sony and Xbox already put their first party on PC anyways. Only a matter of time before Sony does day and day release. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's. See, I would. I honestly, I don't think I see Microsoft actually making another Xbox. I think
they said they are. So they already said they are.
They say they are, but that doesn't mean it has to happen.
I mean, that's
think
true,
what
but
could have did.
I don't see Microsoft going back on their word.
I mean, to me, wouldn't it be make more sense if they just make third party games? Because their console is not making money. The one thing that's making them money is Game Pass, because Game Pass is the Netflix of video games, and they're doing it right. That's the one thing Microsoft / Xbox is doing right. While Nintendo has those games on the Nintendo online service, but they're also doing these slow little drips, and some of the drips are not even good. Yeah, this one we had that had a bunch of good games from Rare, but before that, it was a bunch of crap games that we waited like 4 months for them to give us some shit games for the NES, that no one wants.
Right. And that no one's heard of.
Yeah, or heard of, or it'd be the Famicom versions. But I do see Nintendo having a physical form. Honestly, they'll have a digital version though too. But I think it'd be best if I was Xbox, is just they lose money when they're selling their console. So what's the point of selling something that you're going to lose money on? So why don't you just use your studios that you purchased, and you send out your Game Pass to PlayStation and to Nintendo, and have a service for both. I think it'd be better for them than selling a console that they're going to lose millions of dollars. But Microsoft has the money to burn.
Absolutely.
TSS says, I say Nintendo because even though they probably will go all digital too, their exclusives will never come to PC. If they go third party, they will, but Nintendo does not like having their stuff going anywhere else except Nintendo. Yes, I agree. You know, uh, dude, just putting the Nintendo games on the phone. It was pulling teeth. They had the being show from the Pokemon company say, "Hey, look how much money we're making for Pokemon Go on mobile." Super Mario Bros. Run was a good game, but their fucking Mario Kart Tour, that thing handled like crap. But and Nintendo don't even make games for mobile anymore because they don't make money off of it. And I don't think they know how to do mobile the right way anyways. So they're like, fuck it, we'll just continue making games for the Switch. And I think that's smarter for them. But yeah, I had an awesome chat with my best friend and Filthy about the future of gaming. Like, it sucks that we're heading towards an all digital era.
And I've already said 2024 is not the year for video games. This year is going to be a pretty dry year, in my opinion.
It looks pretty dry, doesn't it? I mean, there might be a few good games coming out, but not a lot. I mean, also, some of the people are over dramatic when there's Sony announced that PS5 is on their later stages for the PS5. Like,
I mean, first of all, that makes
okay.
sense because if you think about it, a PlayStation console's life cycle is only 5 to 7 years.
Yeah.
And the PS5 is going to be 4 years old this November. So yes, they're on their later stages of the console's life. So what PlayStation said is absolutely nothing, that should be new. That should be news. That I would have thought that people would have understood that, but I guess not.
No, they're acting like, oh my god, PS5 is gonna be done next year.
Not only
like,
that, but Sony already did say when they were done working on the PS5 before they released the PS5 that they were going to plan the PlayStation 6 for 2026 release. So if that's the case, we only have one more full year. We only have like 2 more years with the PS5 before the PS6 comes out.
And then that'd be probably the least selling console for Sony then. Because
the PS5 is only sold like 50-something million.
Well, yeah, think about that. I mean, even the PS3 that started off horribly, they almost broke 100 million consoles.
Yeah, that one was what I think that was like 87 or 89 something million.
No, I think they broke the 90 something million.
Let me see. I'll look it up right now. PS5. And the reason they said this too is because they're disappointed that they didn't reach their sales figures. They were expecting to sell 25 million units within the last fiscal year, which is going to be ending next month. And they only reached 21 million.
Yeah.
Within the last year, so.
Well, I'm gonna look up how many PS.
I'm looking it up right now. I'm looking at PS5s.
Well, I'm gonna look how many 3s sold.
Let's see. Total PS5 units sold.
Okay, so Google said...
the PS5 didn't even reach 50 million yet. It's just under that. Oh, this is as of January 2nd, so it actually might be at 50 million.
Well, I was wrong. I thought that PS3 broke over 90. You were closer. It was 87.4 million of PS3 sold, but that's very successful. So, but if they would let's say they cut the PS5 by 2026, then they're not going to break that. They're not going to break their PS3 threshold. I mean, there'd be nowhere near where Wii U numbers were, where it was like 12 million for 5 years. But let me read this. Going through some of these comments from TSS. Both Sony and Microsoft lose money on their consoles. Nintendo is the only one still making money on it, for all the talk about graphics and frame rate that no one is talking about. Well, actually, Sony made money off the PS4 console. Not very much, less than $20 actually. And they actually make money on the PS5 console too. But they learned their lesson from the PS3, because when a person bought a PS3, they were buying it at $600, while Sony was making them at $900 each. So Sony lost $300 per console. So they learned their lesson to actually make a profit on their console. Not much, but they're not losing money. Microsoft is different. They can do that and be okay. Sony, they can't do that anymore. They did that with the PS1 and probably PS2 and 3. But when they did it with the PS3, everything on Sony was going declining then, because I mean, if PS4 was not successful, Sony would be done, because Sony's movie studio was not doing good. I think their electronics side, I remember it's nowadays with electronics, you have so many brands out there competing. Sony is no longer the biggest name in electronics. Like some people, like I think I got a Samsung, I got a Samsung flat screen. Samsung's a big name, Panasonic, and even there's even the one it starts with a T, but I forgot. It's a big brand. But LG was a brand for a while. So right. Sony's not doing great in their electronics, and same thing with their movies. So PlayStation was their bread and butter for the PS4. So if PS4 did not do good, Sony would be in the shit right now. And plus, those Spider-Man movies too. Those Spider-Man movies didn't break $1 billion. They would be in deep shit right now.
So let me tell you something right now. So I got statistics up. Now this is as of January 2nd. So this is almost 2 months old. This sales figure. So it's a little bit more than that right now. But as of January 2nd, obviously this year, the PS5, Sony sold 48.93 million PS5s. So they're just under the 50 million mark. As of January 2nd, Nintendo sold 132.91 million Switches. So again, they're just under, a little under the 140 million mark. And Xbox is pulling up the rear. Again, as of January 2nd, only having sold at the time 25.37 million consoles.
See, Microsoft never became first place.
And let me throw this one at you now, Casey. Microsoft's most successful game console was the 360, selling 85.7 million units.
Yeah.
The Xbox One sold 57 million units. The Xbox Series X has only barely outsold the very first Xbox, which sold 24 million total units.
Well, it's also year 4 for them as well. So, I mean,
right, and
you gotta
Xbox
remember
Xbox has barely outsold their very first console. You know, freaking 22
but you
years,
gotta also
23 years
remember.
later. That is not good. That's not a good
Well,
look
you
for
gotta
Xbox
also
at all.
remember. No, but you kind of have to remember the PS5 and the Xbox Series X. The first 2.5 years, it was damn near impossible to get a console without paying overly crazy price.
Well, it doesn't.
It was
Well,
just
that has nothing to do with the total sales figures. If scalpers are buying them all, then that's still units being sold. So that's all that the number cares about. It's not who's actually
but
buying them.
they also wasn't. Well, true, but they was also not replenishing enough. Like God,
Well, that's
a
because
lot
of the
of
chip
times it was
shortage, and yeah, that did last. That did last for about 2 years, but still,
Yes, and that's
I'm
a
just
quite a
saying
bit of
there are
time
certainly
lost.
more Xboxes out there compared to what's been sold, and they have barely outsold the original Xbox, and that is not a good look on them at all.
No, that's why I say I think Xbox should go third
Even
party.
Sony, this is even Sony's worst console performance, and I don't think they're going to sell more than the PS3 did. So with the PS5, and again, the pandemic certainly had a role to play in this. The pandemic certainly had a role to play in this, but Sony being who they are, you would think they would be at least over 50 million, closer to 60 million by now, and they're not. And now that they announced, hey, we're not putting out any first-party games for the next 13 months, that's really not going to give anyone a reason to buy a PlayStation now, is it?
Well, I think they'll have a. I don't think we'll see PS6 until 3 years from now.
Sony was saying 2026 before the PS5 even came out. I'm thinking 2027, maybe 2028. So
that's what I'm thinking.
But even if it's 2026, it's still right in that range of a PlayStation's life cycle, 5 to 7 years. So
I think
2026 is 6 years. That's right in the middle.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, TSS says we might have to. Let's go back up. We just might have to hit the cap how many games can run, and look, eventually Nintendo will catch up because the industry will have hit its ceiling. Oh yeah, I mean, what I hear, it's either 4K or 8K that the human eye can't see past. Like, there's no visual higher than that. And I'm like, yeah, you can keep the visual keep going up and up and up, but we're not going to see the difference between one and the other.
Yep.
So honestly, what's the point doing that? I mean, plus it's not all about the visuals anymore. It's all about how, like, you need the memory, like how much memory on the hard drives now, because God, some of these games could be 50 gigs now or more.
Try more. Most games are close to 100, if not over that.
No, that doesn't shock me. So, I mean, you have to at least have a terabyte to even have a few games on there now. And that's sad when I remember when the gigabyte sounded like quite a bit of memory. Now, God, a gigabyte is like nothing. Like, you need a terabyte to actually hold enough stuff. And now you need more than terabyte. You need like 2, 3, 4, or 5 terabytes. And like, God damn, that's a lot of memory. And it's like the solid state hard drives because it's a lot faster than a moving hard drive. So it makes the game runs better and faster. And like so I don't know. Gaming's not looking good nowadays. I mean, we're gonna be losing the physical copies, and everything is just gonna go up in price. I wouldn't doubt it with these if the hard drives. Let's say maybe in the future. Let's say what do you think the next Xbox and the PlayStation 6? What do you think their hard drive is gonna be? Is it gonna be like you're gonna get more than like you have to have like a 5 terabyte hard drive to do anything? I don't know if I lost Rose.
No, you didn't. I'm here. I was just listening to you.
No, I was getting your opinion. What do you think the size of the hard drive will be in the future for these new consoles?
Well, obviously, the more graphically intense a game is, the more RAM has to be put in a system, and the better the processor unit has to be in the system. So, and like you said, eventually the industry is going to hit a peak, and you're not going to be able to make games look and feel better than once we can't see a difference anymore. And for some people like me, you already can't see the difference now.
Well, yeah. I mean, honestly, the PS4, like, even though my television only goes up to 1080p, I don't have a 4K TV. But so my PS5 is not like I can't see as much the quality. I'm like it's producing better quality than my TV can put out.
Now that sorry guys, I had my stream paused again because I was looking up the those game console sales and whatnot. But yeah, so I don't know, man. It's hard to say exactly what the future for gaming is, but I can tell you right now, 2024 ain't it, Chief.
No. Maybe for Nintendo side might have a few
Not
good
even
games.
Nintendo.
I mean,
What's Nintendo really have to look forward to this year?
well,
Besides a
they're gonna
fucking
have
a remake of a 20-year-old game that I'm not all that excited for. To be honest with you.
Which game are you talking about?
The Paper Mario 1000-Year Door remake or remaster, whatever you want to call it.
Well, that, and you also have Luigi Mansion 2 HD coming out.
Yeah,
and then also you'll have that Princess Peach game.
Again,
I have to see more.
You know.
Yeah, and like right now, I mean, but then again, when I saw the trailer for Super Mario Bros. Wonder, it's like, but it was an awesome game. So maybe I could be wrong about Princess Peach game, but TSS says, well, let's go up to this one. He says it causes a lot of factors now. Sony making games that takes 5 to 7 years. Well, Nintendo does that as too to make that costing them millions and millions of dollars. If it gets bad enough, you'll see the price increase. Well, yeah, I agree. And then the next one, he says $100 to $200 for games. I can see it. No, maybe $100, but 200. That's asking way too much. That's Neo Geo price games, right
God
there.
forbid any fucking standard of edition of any video game costs $200 or even $100. I'll fucking cry.
Oh, right now, $70. Like some of these newer games cost $10 more than full price is. So I could see $100 in the future, but 200. Oh my god, that you'll see people complaining when it hits 100. They'll never break 200 for a game. But right now, $70, that's a little expensive, but everything's gone up because inflation. So $10, if it's a good game, let's say good to great game, I'm willing to pay $10 more if it's a great game, you know? If it's a shit game like Madden for PS5, I'm not paying $70 for that. Fuck you. You can take that game and shove it up your ass. If you ask me. But I do see in the future, I wouldn't say maybe 15 years from now, maybe $100. I think the $70 will be the new full price tag for at least the next 10 years. That's what I'm thinking. I don't see we'll see an increase to $100 until maybe until 20 years from now. Maybe. I'm not sure. I mean, honestly, I don't think it should be $70 anyways, because I mean, there's no reason why these discs cost more. Because we're going to digital. We're even partially in the digital era. What's the difference between the PS4 and PS5 disc? Why does it got to be the same amount? Why is one got to be $10 more? Like,
because they're trying to say that it takes longer to make those games because of the graphics and everything.
But also, still, again, when it's, let's say it's the same game for cross generation from the PS4 and PS5. Let's say one same game costs $60 for the PS4 and $10 more for the PS5. But yeah, it's slightly upgraded. You're pretty
That's
much
why
paying,
they're basically charging you a tax for the better graphics.
exactly. And
Which I think is bullshit.
it is bullshit.
Especially Nintendo doing it, because that's just egregious.
I agree. But at least with Nintendo, I could at least understand a little bit more, because they actually had to put more into that chip, and then them stamping a fucking disc in a case that takes them like a second to make, you know? Like they pump those.
I don't know. No. Don't try to justify the freaking Switch having Nintendo selling $70 Switch games just because they can, because their games with the quality, especially of how graphically broken and glitchy games have been lately on the Switch, and how the games are literally pushing the console to its limits, which is why the games are, need more work post-launch. No Switch game should ever be $70.
The only reason I give a justify for it is for the Tears of the Kingdom. I think Tears of the Kingdom was worth $70.
Not even that. I disagree.
TSS says if they want to justify the $70 price tag, to me they should gotten rid of the microtransactions in the single player game, but they're doing it anyways. Yeah, well, it depends on the game. Sports, yeah, they're doing it anyways with those microtransactions. It's stupid.
There's microtransactions in fucking pretty much any video game these days.
Nintendo doesn't do it as much as Sony and Microsoft does it.
No, I'm not saying they do it, but they're still in some of their games.
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly in the games like fucking Madden and all these sports games because this player can have this gold jersey or like a futuristic looking jersey, or you can have this NFT of this player. It's just stupid. $70 Switch games. You mean the only two games, right?
What does he mean by
Well,
that?
I know the only one I know was only $70 for Switch was Tears of the Kingdom. Oh, how much was
I think
Mario
Mario Wonder
RPG?
might have been 70 as well.
I don't think so. I think that was $60. Hey, hold on, let me check something out. Get back, Weasel. I was being lazy and I ordered me some DoorDash and I totally forgot about my DoorDash. So
So
I was
you're
like, oh
eating
shit.
your DoorDash? You eating your DoorDash meal now?
I will in a little bit because we probably go ahead and wrap this up. But yeah, I mean, it sucks that the $70 games are a thing nowadays, but it doesn't shock me. Everything's gone up because of inflation. I mean, gosh, like this apartment. Well, I hear, I guess if I waited a year prior, it would probably cost me $200 less
Oh yeah,
because I have a
rents have
better.
gone up everywhere. A two
Yeah,
bedroom
like
a 2-bedroom house or a 2-bedroom townhouse. Let's say a 2-bedroom house used to go for like 1,200. Is now
yeah,
going for like 1,800 a month.
good God.
It's ridiculous.
Well,
It's fucking. It's egregious. It really is.
so TSS says no wonder was $60. That's what I thought. And the only two was Tears of the Kingdom and the new Golden Edition of Skyrim that does the one to charge that price. But no, my buddy who lives here too, he says that he has a 2-room apartment and um I guess he pays about I think he pays the same amount as I do, but he did it before. Like I obviously moved in after he did, so he's paying the same amount, but he has a bedroom, extra bedroom. So like I pay about $700 for this apartment, but he'll be paying about 1,000 if once he has to sign a new lease.
Right.
So I guarantee you, I'd be like, I'm still not happy with this place. Like, they did a horrible job repairing the ceiling.
I was
All
just
they
gonna
did is
ask you
scrape.
about that ceiling. Whatever happened with that?
So they didn't even do anything in here. So I still have 2 stains up here. I mean, it doesn't. The only it just bothers me when if I have someone over, they're like, "What's that?" Like, "Oh, water damage." But in the bedroom, all they did was scrape the stuff off and painted it. They didn't bother to do the repair.
Well, if it's a female fan, Casey, you could always tell them I can make my cum hit the ceiling. You want to see?
Or maybe she was a a squirter, and she squirted it on the ceiling from me.
Oh man.
But
So, are you all good on the other front too? You haven't caught any more of those bastards in a while?
no, nope, I hadn't caught them. But it's also been a lot more warmer out here. It's been in the 60s, 70s. It even broke in the 80s around here.
Damn,
So,
already?
yeah. I mean, that's Oklahoma for you. We had the El Nino effect where, but usually it's still, we get the cold winter months. And right now, we barely even had any cold days. I'm not complaining, but that might mean we will have a very hot summer probably, or a very mild summer. I wouldn't mind have it where the summer ain't as hot, but I ain't gonna complain about the nice days it's been out here. TSS says he's shocked. Well, he's surprised that Casey pronounced a Spanish word right. The El Nino. But oh gosh. But let's go ahead and do our plugs and let's get it out of here tonight. I'm planning. I kind of wanted to. Ooh. Yeah, maybe I'll show this off tomorrow or something. I got some cool stuff to show off, but we're heading through 3 hours, and I want to do or at least record one thing and get it ready for tomorrow.
Right.
So you want to do plugs?
Yeah, might as well, man.
All right, let me bring up your picture real quick. Is it this one? No, I think that's Mikhail. That's Mikhail. Here's yours. Like I said, this is an old picture.
Yeah,
So,
I'm only 8 subs away. I'm only 8 subs away from 700 now.
Oh, you lucky bastard! I've been stalling out. But I was talking to Drew. I think one of the reasons why I think my views been tanking is because some of the way I've been titling my videos. So I'm gonna try something different, see if it would help my videos go up. But go ahead and promote your bullshit.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we're gonna have Lesson Series tomorrow night. Yesterday I did the Killer Instinct stream, so you can check that out. You can see the different versions of the Killer Instinct game that I played. And Monday is going to be Monday Night Horizon with my lady friend. That'll be the 6th week that we're going to do this together so far. Then you have Tuesday, I don't know what. Friday, we'll be bringing back Mortal Kombat 1 content because we'll get the new update and a next DLC character and whatnot. So I'll do that Friday. I do have some Pokemon card videos coming out. I recorded 5 of them this week. I spent about $300 on Pokemon cards. Certainly not the smartest thing to do, but I did. I got one more tin of cards coming to me tomorrow because Amazon sent me the wrong one compared to the one I ordered. So I will be recording that video tomorrow as long as my tin comes, and it's actually the right one. So yeah, so over the next week we got quite a bit of content coming out. As I always say, check out the channels, follow me on YouTube, follow me on Twitch. all my links are there on my channel, of course. And if you look at my stream right now, the links are in my description box. And I so far have made almost $33 on Twitch. So I am coming close. I am getting a little closer to getting my first payout on Twitch.
Well, it's funny. That's $33 more than I've ever made through YouTube. Well, on my own, let's just say that. On my own, I had not made jack shit on YouTube. So I'm glad at least you're making something. I'm happy for you.
I'd make more if I get more subs on Twitch. Casey, why don't you sub to my Twitch, damn it? You got money.
Oh, thanks.
No, seriously, you need to get that fucking internet connection going. That should be priority number one. And you've had that money now for almost 2 weeks.
Actually, a little longer than that. But I've just been busy with work and stuff. And, and being sick. And now I'm finally over that, getting my voice back. I mean, last week, oh my God, that was a nightmare doing stuff with my voice. But yeah, I definitely do need to get better internet. But as looking at something from TSS, he says Casey new review title, reviewing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth while eating a donut.
While eating a donut. I could totally see Casey doing a game review while eating donuts. Yeah, speaking of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I'm certainly picking that game up myself next week. Can't wait. So I won't be streaming it though. That'll be a game I play on my own. So,
well, here's what I got. I got me and Filthy talking about video games, but we also veered completely off on video games though too. It was a live stream. We were talking with some people in the chat, but we had a good time. Seems like a lot of people enjoy me and Filthy talking. I would love to do more shows with Filthy, but I'm not gonna go and beg him and say, hey, let's do I'll throw her out and say, hey, you want to do this? And if he's up to it, and we just work out a date to do it. But I would love to do more with Filthy. So we'll definitely probably do more. It's just we just did those two. I say those other two videos, even though it's one big video it's supposed to be, but I had to cut it in half. And then this live stream. But it was fun. I mean, you guys don't have to watch this one, but actually you don't have to watch any of them, but it's my AEW is pre-show before I took off for going to the watch AEW Dynamite and Rampage. So it was me and the Rose talking about it, and actually I got a copyright for this one, and it's not from AEW. I'm getting copyright for my outro, so I'm not gonna have my outro going on right now.
You have to make a new one.
Yeah, I have to make a new one. Probably I think it's the music that was behind it, so I'll have to change it up. But it was about a half-hour show before I took off. Then I got this one right here is me doing a Vectrex gameplay on Bedlam. It's a very good game that I did. on the vet tricks. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed about how my views are on the vet tricks because I was expecting these to do better than they've been. Also, this one's the one I've been getting the most views in a while. Is my Mother 3 talking about Mother 3 being on the Switch Online service, but only in Japan. And I couldn't wait to get out of work and talk about this. Like I was like I heard about it and I was thinking about it. It's like I got to do a video on this. And then that made me do another episode of Mother 3 gameplay, episode 9, that I just released today. And that's it. I'm planning to do some gameplay of Vet Tricks tonight. Oh, let's see. TSS says, I'm not trying to joke right now. I'm generally asking how many intros do you have, Casey? Well, I have let me take this part down. Give me 2 seconds so you can see me. So, as the intros, I have a template. I make a template. Let's say if I'm doing a console, I'll make a template of the intro and then I'll add in pictures of the game in the box and maybe even like say some of the advertising for it and then some gameplay in the middle of it and then the intro for the Casey is Raw part intro. So, but I have templates. Like I have a template for my Vet Tricks, template for the Xbox, template for all this and that. So like makes it a little easier because I mean I enjoy making the intros because they're is as fun to make those as doing the editing for these videos. So I can see why people enjoy editing because I mean I like making my own stuff. I mean I get some help with some of the artwork, like the Casey is Raw logo in the corner. I'm not sure if AJ made that or I think AJ did made that, but the other logo that I use for like a lot of times, like the one on my profile picture, my best friend made that. My best friend made a lot of the intros, like the HBO intro version. He does a lot of those, but if it's about the game system in the games, I make those intros. And I
Casey, I didn't mean to
know,
interrupt you, man, but I'm having the time of my life watching this fucking hockey fight on Twitter. And I'm just
yeah,
watching these two referees just skating around, these two punching the shit out of each other in the face, and they're not doing a fucking thing about it.
what the referees?
They
Well,
didn't do anything about it until the one guy literally picked the other guy up and slammed him on the fucking ice.
oh, nice.
Oh my god. Wow.
But I know not only TSS complained about how long the intros of my videos been, and the same thing with the Rose has told me about that, and Dave Rose has told me that. I know I need to cut those down,
Yeah, like
but
desperately.
I know it's hard because I don't want to just put a generic intro where it. All right, let me see if I have one of the ones that normally have that my best friend has. I think I had to download. All right, like I have this one he made. Show this one. I just hate just to put that by itself because I feel like that's, just being lazy if I just put that in there, or even if I put this one in.
And
I
also,
kind of,
no, Casey, you do need to shorten your intros down. Like most intros don't need to be more than like 20 seconds long, because people click on your video because they want to see the video itself. They don't want to watch a 2-minute fucking intro sequence of random bullshit just to get to what they want to look at.
I agree, but could you see what I'm talking about? I do have some very good intros. Like I said, I got the HBO one that my best friend made. See, I know those are great intros. I just feel like if I just put those on there, I feel like I'm almost gypping the people because one, I want to show like a little bit of this about the system, a little bit about the game. If there's some advertising, I like to put some of that in there, and then also I like to put a little bit of the gameplay so they can see what the gameplay is going to look like.
Well, that's why you do that stuff during your review or your gameplay. You don't need to do it in the intro. Like I said, nobody wants to watch, and I'm not saying this to dog your content, Casey. I'm telling you this in general speaking. Nobody is going to
I
want to.
know.
No one's going to want to watch. No one's going to want to click on your video and watch a 2-minute intro sequence to whatever your video is. And then watch the video. No one's going to do that. They're just going to get annoyed and click off your content. Believe me.
I just hate just slapping something on there like that, like randomly though. I mean, I could see like maybe cutting it down a little bit where I'll have it like shorten it way down to a minute. But it's hard because I feel like I want to put a lot of work into it, put a lot of effort, and I just hate just to slap something easy in front of it, I don't know. I just like I said, I feel like let's say if I don't at least get like a 10-minute gameplay in, I feel like I'm gypping the people.
Well, if you're doing a gameplay video or a review, you don't need to put gameplay of what you're playing in the intro. That just makes it redundant.
I'll try to veer back on it, but I mean, I love the intros my best friend made. Like I said,
well, the one with the kazoo sucks. Get rid of that one. It's annoying. No offense.
No. Well, I mean, I think he just did that because, like, that HBO one, I actually had to lay something behind it because honestly, HBO copyrighted that, but I laid something under it, and now they don't. Even the PlayStation one nowadays, the PlayStation one startup screen, I get copyright for that now. So
Do
what I
you? I'm
do,
glad I
I
stopped
speed
using
it
it then.
up. Yeah, and one day I got copyright for it. So nowadays, if I do decide to use it, I speed the intro up so you can tell what it is, but it's a little faster, so they don't hit you on the sound of it anymore. But I don't know. I'll definitely work on it. I mean, it's a work in progress, obviously, but um, kind of like how this show is a work in progress. I mean, I would love to keep it on Fridays, but I feel like on Saturdays I'm more into the show because one, I actually
Casey, you
have the
say this at
energy.
the end of every show.
I know it. I've definitely. Well, I'm just saying it's definitely different because uh Fridays I can't wait to get done because of how tired I am. Saturdays, because I got sleep in, I have the energy and actually able to put more effort into the show. But
Right. I mean, you don't have to explain yourself every
I
week though
think
why you moved your show from Friday to Saturday when you've already said it like four or five shows ago.
yeah, true. I yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let's see. Check this one comment out, and then actually, hold on.
And
Let's see.
I'm going to be continuing my stream once Casey is done here. That's why my stuff is paused at the moment. We'll be moving on to Mario Party Superstars. I'll be playing 2 games of that, and then I'll call my stream for the night. I know I've been live for a little over 2 hours, so I'm looking at probably about a 4-hour stream by the time I'm all said and done.
TSS says, I wonder how long your videos would be if you had every intro ever made in the beginning before you actually start the video. I get the point. All right, I'm gonna try to do better. And TSS says, I like to do as a gag for a parody review. If it was me, I have it to be 30-second minimum. Because TSS does the parodies of my reviews. So I assume he's talking about doing at least a 30-second minimum for the intros. But let's go ahead and let's get out of here. Like I said, there will be no outro because I had to build a new one. So, you ready to get the hell out of here for the night? I mean, for on my end.
On your end, yeah, I think we've gone as long as we needed to.
Yep, I had a good time. It was good having Tex on. I appreciate you coming on tonight. And I'll see you tomorrow on Less Than Serious.
Yep. Tomorrow night we're going to be talking about the Eddie Guerrero car that sold for $15,000.
Oh, that's right.
We're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk again. We're going to do like a mini review of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and why I didn't really care much for it. We'll talk a little bit more about this whole video game situation because I'm interested in what Kratos has to say about everything regarding what Xbox and Sony has said regarding their platforms going forward, at least for now. And yeah, well, I'll try to find a random wacky topic for tomorrow night too. So,
All right. Well, for the Rose, I am Casey the Draw. And I appreciate you guys coming by. And until then, I'll see you guys later. I'm sure the Rose 5 is going to steal his line, but
You didn't want to steal my line for once. Holy shit.
you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you later. See you guys.
Alrighty. Everybody come on over to my channel and watch me play.